What is up, everybody? I'm George Mossey. I'm here with my co-host, Marshana, Dahlia, 90 Day Fiance Season 9, Episode 5 has aired. Jabri and Miona were not on the episode, so not everyone was featured. But next week, we're going to see what's going on with Jabri and Miona and their living situation with his parents. Let's check in with Emily and Kobe. So we had a pretty intense conversation on the show last night, and this has been a big issue in public opinion for a while. It's public breastfeeding. And some people feel like it's a natural act and it should be done wherever it is needed. Whenever a baby needs to be fed, it should be a natural act and we shouldn't stop or penalize a woman for feeding her child. And then other people feel differently. As Kobe said that where he's from and how he was raised, women are to be discreet about breastfeeding and breast pumping. And I feel like this is just a cultural difference because in America, we did tackle this issue and we've landed on the side of feeding your baby is a natural thing to do.
Unpopular opinions. Okay, that's what I'm famous for. I am Kobe on this one. Not that I feel like women should not be allowed to breastfeed. If the child is hungry, go ahead, breastfeed anywhere you feel like it. I mean, you don't always have to seek privacy. However, I think it's okay in a relationship that has produced a baby and that is going to progress to marriage, God willing. You should be able to voice your concerns. You should be able to have an opinion about what is going on with your child. This is extending deeper than breastfeeding for me. For me, Emily, you have a lot of issues with control, laziness. I could read you like a bedtime story, but Emily, I try to be nice on this podcast. So here we go. This is my exercise in being nice. Emily, you have to give Kobe an opportunity to have an opinion about what is going on with your son together. He is not just yours or his, together. If he wants to communicate with you, do not be so condescending and nasty. And then as a means to avoid an uncomfortable conversation, which I did not see as a fight. It was uncomfortable and they had opposing views, but I don't see it as a fight. You don't dismiss him and give him orders to go help your mom in the kitchen. You go help your mom in the kitchen. The man just came here. It's his first day here and you're already putting him to work. You don't think you could have had a nice meal prepared? You know, Emily, I don't see you doing anything in that house. Actually, you don't work. You are making him doing all the cleaning. Oh, and don't even get me started on when she kicked him out of the bed. Listen,
that was my next topic. Go ahead.
Emily, why would you kick the man out of the bed? I understand. It's bedtime. Bedtime is precious when it comes to children. But this is his first night with his son that he has been looking forward to meeting. What is one sleepless night with the kid tossing and turning and all that other stuff? What's one sleepless night just to say that for the first time ever, we're together as a family? Wow. She doesn't see the bigger picture. She sees herself and her comfort. She's very narcissistic. I mean, I'm not a psychologist, but if I were a betting woman, I'm betting on her narcissism. I think that it's unhealthy, first of all, for her to even still have a 17-month-old baby sleeping in the bed. Our son is 18 months old. He's not sleeping in the bed with us. He sleeps independently because I don't have him dependent on breastfeeding to go to sleep, dependent on being with me. You have to raise these children in a way. And listen, if it works for her, what do I know? But it doesn't seem to be working for them as a family unit, and their relationship is going to suffer.
I actually agree, and I agree with the sleeping in the bed thing too. I feel like they have to do what works for them as a family. And I heard Kobe say it in the episode last night. He said Emily is doing thing that works for her and Coben. She's not including me in this family dynamic. And it's true. This is what works for her and has been working for her and the baby in the past. But Kobe is now physically present and you have to include him. And that does include listening to his opinions and including him in your decisions. And I think that's going to be the real issue that they have to face in this relationship is inclusion. All right, so let's talk about Ariella and Biniam real quick, right? So they have arrived in New York City, where they're going to Princeton, New Jersey. They get off the plane and they're really excited and they're taken to their new apartment, which Ariella's mother has rented for them. And I just want to say real quick, this apartment did not live up to the level of entitlement that I was expecting, right? This was a very modest apartment. So maybe we have her parents wrong. I was like, maybe we're pinging them wrong in this situation. Maybe they are not enabling her to the point of where she will never work because they said, oh, well, this is your apartment. We put down the down payment. We put down the first month's rent and the last month our security. Your responsibility to take care of you and your family in the next couple of months. So I was like, maybe we have them all wrong. Maybe they were helping her when she was in Ethiopia, but now that she's back, maybe this is the beginning of them saying, hey, it's time for you to be an adult and a mother and a wife and start taking care of your family. So maybe when I saw this, I was like, maybe I've been pinpointing her parents to being enablers and I was not 100% accurate.
Oh no, you were 100% accurate. I'm gonna say follow your first mind. Ariella is an entitled. Ooh, so many narcissistic traits here. When they say you have to take this over, you think that they're talking to Ariella? No, no, no. They're talking to Biniam. And she's going to
Well,
defer
the
that.
only reason why I thought it was for her because they said in a couple of months, and there's no possible way that Biniam would be able to take over anything in a couple of months. They wouldn't even be married yet.
Yeah, I understand. Listen, that all makes sense. But who's she going to put the pressure on? She's never had the pressure of having to pay bills in a timely fashion, work, earn a living wage to support her and the child that she's created and the person that she chose to bring over to the United States. Keep in mind, Ariella's done this before. She has an ex-husband that came from, was it Argentina? So listen, but I'm sure, I guarantee Ariella is not the one who's going to be working and paying those bills. I am going to bet my entire wig collection that it ain't going to be Ariella, and she's going to put the pressure on Biniam. She's not thinking things through. I don't see, it's like for me, they put the two narcissists like back to back, like Emily and Ariella, and they put them together. And these women are not going to convince me that they did not deliberately choose men from other countries so that they could have leverage to be over the person to maintain control. They like maintaining control. Even Emily's family last night, jokingly, but I didn't think it was funny, said, haha, we just do whatever Emily says. Ariella is the same way. They dictate to the family in the family structure how things are, and they go into relationships feeling like this is a healthy way to run relationships too. I'm going to dictate. This has disaster written all over it. When Wish said a couple of weeks ago, or was it last week, Biniam is the definition of stuck. Hey,
That's true. He really can't leave. This situation has happened in the past. He did not get to see that child. And he said in that episode, he said, even if I didn't love her, I would go with her because I want to be with my son and I want to make this work. So that is true. He's stuck. He's literally up a creek with no paddle and he's just going with the current, and the current is Ariella. All right, so let's jump over and switch gears and talk about Belial and Shida, right? So it's time for her to meet his kids, Yusuf and Zanaya. And they are having a conversation, and she says, ironically, she doesn't like to play games. They were going to do a family game night, and I was like, that's really ironic because she's trying to marry the ringmaster of all games. And I was like, so everything about this man is playing games. And then the conversation turns to children. And once again, Bilal is avoiding having this conversation. And even his children can see that he's been avoiding this conversation. And they try to encourage their own father to have this conversation with this woman. And he still will not have this conversation. I don't see how they're going to get married because she said that she will never marry him until they have this conversation because she wants to have children. She's 37. She's never been married. And she has every right to want to have children, and she's been honest and upfront about it. Why is she in his house waiting to marry him? No, but he knows that he doesn't ever want to have any more kids. This is unfair, and I don't like how he is using manipulation. Like he's saying, oh, well, you can live in this beautiful home and I could take you on trips, and children would make things difficult, and he's manipulating her into believing she doesn't want something that she really does.
listen, it's painful for me to listen to Bilal every single week. Wow. Again, I try to be nice. But you guys make it hard week after week. And I know. Some of you all watch this podcast and you think I'm being mean, or you might want to jump in the comments and be like, oh, well, the producers did this and that. You're not going to fool me, okay? I've been on 3 major reality shows on 3 major networks. You will not get it past me. Bilal, you are a manipulative person. And there's nothing wrong with saying, I don't want children, but you need to be forthcoming with that. Why have the nikah with this woman? And you say your religion is the most important thing to you, but I see every single week that is a bold-faced lie, because if your religion were important to you, you would be speaking to this woman about conversations that you would have with a wife, because you've already done that. That is a level of commitment. Okay, I think it's just gross what he's doing. I think he's highly, highly emotionally abusive. And I think he wants to manipulate her and kind of make her dizzy in the head so she's not thinking clearly, so that way he can kind of maintain leverage. You know, all the Americans this season, y'all aren't doing such a good job. Anyway, so I hope Shaida gets away from him. Honestly, this is a relationship that I'm really hoping crashes and burns, and crashes and burns quickly. I think that Shaida asking or wanting to be called Umi is a little bit much of a stretch. I understand the cultural aspect of it and wanting that kind of respect factor. I'm West Indian myself. I'm from Jamaica, and I think Ms. Shaida would be an acceptable term, you know. So you put, or you know, something in it that adds a salutation, so you're not feeling a level of too much familiarity with the children. But girl, save yourself. Take your pretty self back to Trinidad and on to the next. You are beautiful and stunning, and you deserve so much more than being manipulated. He keeps saying he likes gratitude. No, he doesn't like gratitude. What he wants Shaida to do is to bow down and worship him. Bow down to his feet and just say, oh my God, thank you so much for letting me live in your house. And thank you so much for any little thing you give me. He wants worship. He doesn't want gratitude.
I agree. That's it for part 1. We're going to come back with part 2 and talk about the rest of the couples. We'll have a first impression of Thais, who we met last night. Thank you so much for joining. Guys, the show was trending, and there was a lot of other things on last night. So you guys still came out and were tweeting with us. Thanks for that. I'm George Mossey. This is my co-host, Marshana Laylas Parents, and I'm going to talk to all of you guys really soon.